Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, I should say. This is my day 10 of my 30-day video challenge. Today I learnt. And today I learnt that men are suppressing, rejecting, and condemning their sexuality, all because of porn. And it's become more obvious in the last couple of days. I'll give you an example of what I mean. So someone who has been watching porn nearly all their life has had issues with erections, issues with obsessions and urges and sex and women, now wants to get off porn, but they throw their entire sexuality out with the habit, right? Throwing the baby out with the bathwater, suppressing and rejecting all sexuality because they've lumped all of it into one big barrel and they want to burn the lot, right? So often I get messages about the nofap thing, right? So men are going, 20 days without masturbation and porn, where they talk to me about their relapses, right? They classify a relapse when they consider the urges to be too strong and they turn to porn and masturbation again. Now, some of these men are not necessarily relapsing with porn, but they consider even masturbation as a relapse, okay, because they're trying to harness their seed. So no FAP or no PMO means no porn or masturbation or orgasm. So they give up for a certain amount of time and they count the days and they almost always relapse every single time and time again. Now, I've done a heap of videos on this and articles on nofap and how it sets men up for failure. It puts them into scarcity, it suppresses their sexuality, and they don't understand, for the most part, how their own body works, how porn addiction has affected them in terms of brain damage and neural pathways. And they also don't understand sexual energy on how that works or erectile dysfunction properly. Right? So wet dreams, everyone's heard of those, right? Well, in the field of unhealthy nofap land, wet dreams are seen as a relapse because they ejaculated. And yesterday I was educated on what some men are actually calling that. They're calling it a night pollution. Oh, so now orgasm is the most natural bodily function, as natural as urinating, laughing or crying. And I know which one I'd rather be having or doing out of going to the toilet or having an orgasm. It's pretty obvious. But when you don't separate all of these aspects of porn addiction and sexuality, you reject and condemn all parts of your sexuality. And now there are nofap guys that will have a go at me until they're blue in the face, saying it's the best thing they ever did, giving it all up. But they don't understand how much of their sexuality they're suppressing and giving up. They're not relinking and retraining the neural pathways and the body to receive self-pleasure and pleasure from a woman in a natural, organic way. So nofap is suppressing all sexuality. No sex education plus years of porn addiction is warping sexuality. Lack of connection and being present is losing sacred sexuality. No education on their body and their sexual energy is rejecting sexuality. No idea about the brain addiction that's ruled their lives all this time is causing them to condemn their sexuality. They think cold showers is the solution to hosing down their urges in their genitals. The urges are in the brain, guys. Cold showers are great for inflammation and resetting the body. They're great as a distraction, as in a cleansing, any cleansing form of water will be. But hosing down the randy dog isn't addressing any of this. Men's urges have got to the point where they see someone, say any female, that sparks their interest in the street, at the supermarket, at a bar, and they have to go home and wank. This is the brain addiction. The urges aren't normal, healthy male sexual urges. A non-addicted male can appreciate a woman's body and sexuality. He sees the divine feminine in all its glory and he respects and honors the sexuality she oozes. But he doesn't have to leave and go home and rub one out. No, he doesn't. And that's because he hasn't trained his body to be so triggered by women. He hasn't amped up on dopamine and testosterone constantly. He hasn't trained himself to ejaculate immediately to fix the problem. And it's just not okay. None of this is okay for the men or the women. And there's a huge difference between a healthy sexual sexually awakened male and a male who's been under the influence of porn for most of his life. There's a huge difference. And I think that's one problem we face here. Men that have always been under the influence of porn have nothing to compare themselves to. They can't compare themselves to other men because most men are watching porn. Therefore, how do they compare themselves with a guy that doesn't watch porn? And the answer is they can't. Only a woman who's having sex with these guys or a practitioner has the access to the men who do and don't watch porn to be able to analyze the difference, right? And this suppression, this condemnation, this rejection of sexuality in men is nearly just as dangerous as the porn addiction itself. Conscious self-pleasure is vital to learn breath work, energy work, connection to the body, opening up chakras and energy pathways, working with different types of breath work, energy techniques, meridians, using edging, timing, exploration, arousing all five senses. All of these things are vital for any person on the planet to know and learn about themselves. So it is good news that these men are stopping their porn habits, but their erectile dysfunction is not improving because they're not doing the work. It takes repair, recovery, retraining, relearning to combat this disease. And trust me when I say it is a disease. Just spend a day doing what I do and you will hear exactly how bad things are getting for men around the world around porn addiction. And throw out all of the language such as night pollution. When describing sacred sexuality, there's just, oh my God, there's so much work to do around this. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.